All right, member for Homa Bay, you respond to what he says about the involvement of Raila Odinga, the second phase, and of course what the deputy president is saying. Yo maneno ya lazima.
Yeah, of course we want all Kenyans to give their views and participate because it's a national issue. And Ken, I want to say that look at the avenues created. For those who believe the public rallies are not very good, like I hear my brother to be saying, you saw Musalia Mudavadi even after being at Kakamega, presenting views to the steering committee, so university students. My request without, going into politics would be that when we are thinking about our country, let as many of us avail themselves of the opportunity, whether you're going to the public meetings or you are going directly to the task force. Whether you are getting President Kenyatta, you are getting Raila Odinga, just ensure that ultimately your views are considered by the task force on the table where they are. You've seen how the public meetings, which have been so far held in 4 places, are being conducted. Preceding the meeting, the people sit, various stakeholders, and there is a very rich category of people. And they distill what is important for their region. Tellingly, Ken, look at the views which came from Mombasa. For instance, when the Coast, BBI, public rally, was put together. Were they captured in the initial report in the manner they presented them? Certainly not. And this is why I'm saying this is a validation process. When you seek to validate Ken, you are asking the people who gave their views whether their views were captured correctly, whether everything they said was wholly captured. And for those who could have not have given their views because this is affecting the nation, now that we have a report and you are a citizen of Kenya, do you agree or you disagree with the report in the contents? If you disagree, what proposals would you have which can be thought through by the steering committee to come up with a document which can take us to resolving those things bedeviling our nationhood? And so that I would request my brother and those who are opposed to giving views, find your channel. You have a problem with the public meetings. My view, you remember, I started by telling you that if you had a stadium big enough to accommodate all Kenyans, that would be the best forum. But let us not just restrict this thing to the few who can reach the steering committee where they are. If we can go to the regions, my view is that even the number of meetings we have scheduled, or the BBI team have scheduled the public meetings, are few. If we could have the maximum reach for Kenyans, reach them so that their views also count. I disagree with the deputy when he seems to suggest that people are being forced to hold particular views. No. Take your views there. I can tell you when you saw the views in Mombasa, you saw the views in Kisii, there were people even making proposals which were not contained before, but they had to be listened to. You saw the Kuria people in the Kisii meeting saying they want their own county. You saw the unique issues in Kitui. Ultimately, let these things be brought together. Let the steering committee distill those issues over which, we have a convergence of thought and thinking as Kenyans, and issues which we can then seek the best intervention to secure the final goal, which is set in the 9 points we are dealing with.
Mheshimiwa, would you rather go for the public rallies, or would you want to go before the steering committee?
The public rallies is not a bad idea, but the way they are structured, it's evolving around politicians, non-gazetted politicians, some holding no elective posts, and that is where those are the people that are the ones giving the. Remember, on one of the national TVs, I don't know whether it was NTV or which one, they had an interview about this BBI and the rallies that have been going on. And one gentleman from Kisii and he said, I'm an ODM member. I even ran and didn't make it in ODM. BBI came to Kisii. We held a meeting. We gave views. And then the memorandum that was read at the stadium did not capture anything. It was not what we presented. Did not capture anything that we presented. It was a foreign document to those who had participated. And this is just a young person from Kisii. So those stories that are emanating from there, and I want to say this, Ken, and for the benefit of everybody in the Republic, let us not take Kenyans for granted. We are dealing with a very informed generation. We are dealing with Kenyans who are always on the internet. They are reading the newspaper. They are even listening to each other and talking to each other. We need to restructure the way the BBI is. Let the Haji team take charge.
But don't you think that is too late? It's too late for that.
It is not too late. They've only held 4 meetings. The meeting, an order, executive order can be given tomorrow that the Embu meeting, the Narok meeting, and the Embu meeting is going to be run by Yusuf Haji.
Can I ask my brother a simple question?
Go ahead.
The young man you are talking about, what stops him from writing down his thoughts and presenting it directly to the task force?
The issue is, why collect my views, then go and read a document that is not there? And he was not talking for himself.
I'm saying, when you do a report in which so many people have views, it is not common that their views would be similar. Ultimately, what you get in a document like this is a distillation on what the people said. Generally agree about.
Okay.
If you held a strong position on a matter which has not been captured because it has been, subsumed in other people's views, you still have another channel. Write it down and send it to the task force.
Which is true, but the concern is the concern for the people who attended the meeting.
Yes,
probably is this is what we agreed upon, and I assume before it was presented before the public, probably it was read to them.
Yes,
to confirm the minutes.
Yes.
So his concern could be this is not what we confirmed. It's totally different. Is it not a valid concern?
I hear Caleb to be saying that an individual he associates with the ODM party, and he says he's a young man, says that what was being read in
is not what they
immediately upon
is not what they agreed in the consultative meeting.
Is not according to him what they agreed upon, because whatever they agreed upon was read before them in public. This is something we are hearing from him. We never saw it. And I think the media has been very kind to broadcast, most of, the points when resolutions are being had. We never saw that dissent. But I'm saying, it is not the case that when you meet, even where we are on the table here, Ken, your views and perspectives around each and every issue on this table will not always be, in convergence or in agreement. If the majority to Caleb and Kaluma's position is taken as the general position, you still have the channel to write it down. The important thing is that be heard as a Kenyan.
Even if your view is not considered,
correct,
be heard.
Be heard. I mean, present it. Ultimately, even when you present it to the task force, can we have how many Kenyans currently?
47 million.
47.6. I was told a number like that. You will have 47.6 million views if we were to proceed on the ideal position.
Okay.
These views, ultimately, you'll pick what the majority want. But the most important thing is that you've been heard in terms of how you wanted, the nation to move forward. I've never heard, Caleb say that I went to attend this public rally, I was kept away. I've never heard anybody say that the deputy president, for instance, if I were to give an example, was in Kisii and it was bad. I mean, it would be a different case. But if these are meetings open to everybody, don't search for roadblocks. See
Kaluma, we saw what happened in Kitui. We saw what happened in Mombasa.
Kitui was a beautiful meeting. Mombasa was a beautiful meeting.
Having a member sitting on the ground and the governor shouting at Tolewe, 2 governors.
No, which governor?
Charity Ngilu and Nyoro.
I saw, you're talking about Moses Kuria?
Yes.
I saw him sit on the podium.
Later, after the Wananchi demanded that he be given a seat.
If you go on a frolic of your own, and let us agree, Ken, I've been to Kakamega. You never even saw a mention of Kaluma in Kakamega. I was in Kitui. Did you see Kaluma or a mention? I mean, why go into a public meeting from which we need to get regional views and insist you are going there to sit in a particular way, you must address. Sometimes go to these places to hear the concerns of the region. It is their forum.
There is no evidence of Moses Kuria forcing himself anywhere, or even forcing himself to give a speech.
Even the concerns about Moses Kuria. In Mombasa,
Yeah.
there was an incident.
Yes.
He refused to stand when everyone else stood up.
And it's not a must.
But
Yeah.
why him?
It's not a must.
Why him?
That you'll ask Moses. I'm sure you have access
You just
to him.
brought it. No,
Yeah.
but you're the one who brought it on the table. I didn't bring it.
Maybe if I was there also, I wouldn't have stood. Yeah.
Ken, the
Yeah, but-
issues...
but
I would
why
stand
him?
for my president.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ken, I'm here on the understanding
Yes.
that the BBI matters are beyond temporal politics. And so, to me, discussing how a member of parliament, where he sat and how he was treated, to me, it's not an issue. Kositanya was in Mombasa.
But it's important
I
for
saw you.
inclusivity.
I went
It's
there.
important when you're talking about inclusivity. Yes.
Don't go there, you know, rabble-rouse or create opportunities to interfere with otherwise a program which is proceeding well, so that you can blame, you know, the organization. Just go there. I'm telling you, I was in Mombasa. Ken, you never saw me on TV. I was in the crowd. I was in the crowd. Not even my party is aware I was in that crowd. And there, what are the concerns of Mombasa? And then you can see me relay for you word for word what I had.
Okay.
You see,
Yes,
when
so don't go to
Kaluma
provoke.
says he was there is a certain group of people who are expected to be in Mombasa, and they were treated in a certain manner. And when we decided that we were going to join in the meeting, it was a big issue. It was like, why are these guys coming to our meeting? In fact, people went public and said, why are you coming to our meeting? Fanyeni mkutano wenu, and you are opposing BBI. When we are not on record as having opposed BBI, we are saying we are supporting.
Make a
BBI
choice.
has launched in Bomas. Has launched at Bomas of Kenya. So
A
I
document
think
that you're not even sure if it's the one.
we are not even sure if it is the one, but if
you
it is that
support
one,
it.
and that is why we have riders. We are saying that one has launched in Bomas. That is the one we are going for.